Joining me now is Representative Hinson from Iowa. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks, Jackson, for having me.
Tell me what you're working on after the big, beautiful Bill Act. You know, that was the big one. It got across the finish line. So what's next for you?
Yeah, that was a pretty big feat to get that bill done. But, you know, I think it's twofold, right? It's keeping going with our priorities, making sure we're standing up to the Chinese Communist Party with our good legislation, making sure we're finding ways to support our agriculture producers in Iowa through good policy, but also the appropriations process is alive and well right now. I can tell you that. The next couple weeks are going to be very busy for us ahead of that September 30th deadline.
Okay, so there's been a lot of really good things come out of the Trump administration, but something that is a little divisive is these Epstein Files. Some of MAGA is a little upset about it. Do you have any thoughts on that? What do you think should happen with that? I know a lot of people, Republicans in particular, want answers on this topic, and some people feel like they're not getting them, so I'm curious your take.
Well, I always believe more transparency is better across the board, but I also really trust President Trump. I trust Pam Bondi. I trust Kash Patel. I know that if there was something devastating for President Trump in those files, President Biden would have used it, or the Democrats would have used it. So I'm a little skeptical of both sides, but I always believe more transparency is better.
You know, I think that's a good point. I was talking with some other people at an event in Tampa over the weekend, and they were saying, you know, if Trump is part of that, that would have come out a long time ago because they were doing everything they could short of killing him to get him not to run for president.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, and we saw that happen. There are still threats on his life every single day. So at the end of the day, what I want to see is accountability for bad people, and clearly Epstein dodged that accountability, which is unfortunate, but I think that we need to allow Kash Patel the room to do his job, and I'm hopeful that they'll continue to do that.
I want to talk to you about illegal immigration. It's a big problem, and we have alligator Alcatraz now. We're getting rid of violent, dangerous, illegal criminals in our country. And so what's your message to the people who are wreaking havoc in the streets in some cases because of these deportations, which, by the way, are being done lawfully?
Correct. We are a nation of laws, and you know, what I heard time and time again out on the campaign trail, we need a secure border and we need a secure country. And the way that happens is by actually enforcing the law. And so, you know, alligator Alcatraz, make alligators great again is what I've said. But, you know, when I look at the enforcement, it's also a deterrent. And you look at what's happened at our southern border since then. A year ago in May, it was 64,000 people under the Biden administration released into our country. And now we're at zero. We had 2 months in a row of zero. So again, we didn't need new legislation. We just needed a new president.
You know, there's been a lot of movement across President Trump's agenda for the American people and a lot of gains in that area. Going back to your state of Iowa, a huge state, right? The Iowa caucuses, everybody loves Iowa and the huge state fair. So I wanted to ask you about the people of Iowa. What are the people of Iowa telling you when you go back to your district? What are you hearing from your constituents in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, I always say the best town halls are when I'm at the grocery store, or like last week when I took my 14-year-old to get his learner's permit at the DOT, right? So I'm sitting in the waiting room with everybody else, right? I make sure people know I'm going out in public. I'm doing exactly what you're doing. I'm a working mom myself, right? So when I talk to people and they come up to me and they say, thank you for defunding Planned Parenthood. I had one man tell me, God's going to bless you for that. I had another person come up to me and say, hey, thanks for the 10,000 ICE agents. So they're excited to see President Trump's priorities actually be enacted. And that's what I'm hearing. I had one young man and his wife come to my town hall, which, by the way, was completely overrun with indivisible activists. Wow. But he stood up and shared his story of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 enabled him to have enough money in his pocket where he and his wife were able to put down a down payment on a home. That happens through good policy, and I am relieved that people feel comfortable enough to come up and tell me that in public, and I think that shows that what we're doing here is working, and we're trying to protect taxpayers, and it's the new American golden age.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate talking to you.
Thanks, Jackson.
Thanks.